Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pitch Perfect Podcast. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and more importantly, subscribe to our channel. Alongside me today, we have the famous Kante. Hi, Kante.
Hello, Melo. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Kante, for coming. And we have David. Hi, David. The Italian guy. And we have Eduardo. Hola, Eduardo.
Hello, Melo. Thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
No problem.
In the house today, we'll be talking about the impact of the draw between Mancity and Liverpool. We'll be also talking about whether Arsenal hit the top of the Premier League at the right time of the season, and more importantly, can they really win the title after more than 20 years? We also predict the top four after a big win by Spurs yesterday over Aston Villa by 4-0. And to top it up, let's see if Pochettino keeps his job after his next game. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, listen. Yesterday we had a brilliant game of football between Liverpool and City. What a game. What do you think of that game?
It was very good. It was both-sided, I think, for the majority of the part. I think first 30 minutes, Liverpool dominated. City got into the game a little bit. City went 1-0 up. Liverpool got an equaliser. So I think it was a very good game, and I think that's a sign of, that's the two teams that have been dominating English football since Klopp and Guardiola came in, going at each other. And, obviously, for City yesterday, it was so important for them because Guardiola's record at Anfield has been pretty poor, understandably. So he wanted to win. Obviously, they didn't win, but I think that was a sign of better things to come for both of them this season. And they pushed each other right to their peak. And I think a draw was a deserved result in the end.
I have to admit, Klopp, he knows how to beat Guardiola.
He does. His record's very good. But again, I think that comes down to the fact that they managed in the same league twice, Premier League and Bundesliga as well. I think even in the Bundesliga, Klopp had a good record against him. So.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years now.
10 years now since Guardiola's really done a double over him. So I think I wouldn't say it's a concern for Guardiola, but I think that's his say, for example, Klopp does retire at the end of the season because we know he's leaving Liverpool.
Do you think he's leaving or he's want to retire from football?
I think he'll. I think next year he'll take a break. I think he'll come back. I think secretly something's telling me he wants the Germany job for the next World Cup. And I think for him that'd be good because if he can, we've seen Germany in recent years. Let's be honest, they haven't been nowhere near as good as we know they can be. So I think if Klopp took over that Germany team in a few years, get ready for the next World Cup, I think they could be mainstay. But for Guardiola, I think if Klopp does retire and says, yeah, that's it, after Liverpool finished, I think he'll look back on his career and go, the one thing I wanted to do was beat Klopp at Anfield.
There's a strong competition between the two managers, right?
Yeah. I think for Guardiola, the Anfield the Anfield for him has a big impact because he won at Anfield only one time in the COVID.
Yeah.
When there were no fans, so for Guardiola it was always important to go at Anfield to try to win the game. And for me, in the first half, I think City maybe deserved the lead, because they opened the goal with a corner kick.
Beautiful goal.
Because
for me, the setup was
for me, Guardiola studied really good during the week the corner, how Liverpool behaved during the corner. So I think he studied, and then at the replay he points an assistant. So I think he really studied, and he knows that this type of games, they can be decided by a corner kick or even a penalty kick.
Yeah,
so,
little thing.
Penalty that wasn't.
little thing. That kind of game, with a game of that magnitude, little details can change the whole picture of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, we used to have in a Liverpool Man City always electric, always, it's a rock and roll game, no? I'm pretty sure the Guardiola and Klopp, they really like to play each other. I'm pretty sure they enjoy being next to each other by the sidelines and then enjoy a beautiful game of football.
I think that was also a turning point, a point of the Premier League.
Yeah. I think at this point, the Arsenal, City, and Liverpool are at the same level. I think that the Premier League is gonna be decided by the goal difference because the next game is gonna be Arsenal, City.
Yeah.
So
Before we get to Arsenal and City, do you think it was a fair result between Liverpool and Man City yesterday?
I mean, if you consider the penalty,
Yeah, that's details, right?
that's the detail that you miss, no? Because you still need to score the penalty.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not a goal. It is a penalty, in my opinion. No, that in any part of the pitch, it would have been a free kick.
It would have been a fault.
I don't understand why, because it's in the area in the very last minute. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you might.
But the problem is we like I mentioned earlier, the game of that magnitude, you as a referee, it's hard. Yes, you have to make a decision, but it's hard to call it. Especially 2-3 minutes before the end of the game.
Especially at Anfield as well, because we've seen how good Liverpool have been at Anfield. And we've seen how that crowd can, rattle them up, push them. We've seen it when they beat Barcelona at Anfield that's when they won the Champions League that season, when Origi scored a goal. That Anfield atmosphere alone,
it's unbelievable.
And we've seen in the COVID times with Liverpool, they were pretty poor at Anfield. They didn't win many games. They lost a lot of games to teams that got relegated that season as well, conceded a lot of goals, and then when fans slowly start coming back in, and you start seeing the old Liverpool, massive difference as well. Because I think the fan base, even when they're away, you can always feel something. And I think at Anfield especially, as it's so tight and compact, when the Liverpool fans are fully behind their team, I think it's very hard to stop them on
It's
the
one of the most
definitely one of the most difficult.
Liverpool definitely, I believe so. I could be wrong. I think Liverpool definitely has what it takes to beat Man City on the day.
I agree.
It's such a good football team, right?
Yeah,
let's fast forward a little bit. Do you think it was a penalty?
I don't think it was. I see why people say it was.
Yeah.
We'll see it's near the last minute. His foot's high. At the same time, if you look at the replay again, when you first see it, you go, "Right, it's definitely a penalty."
I think it's a penalty because I look at the replay again and again. Yeah.
I think when you slow it down, I saw a replay yesterday on X, the Sky Sports Twitter account. They slowed it down, and you see Doku's gone to go for the ball, seeing he's gonna get the man, and then pulled his leg away at the last minute, which is why I don't think it's a penalty. I think if he kept the follow through and he went in for the ball, but he kept his leg there, it's definitely a penalty. But I think the movement of him trying to move away from the ball slightly, I think saves him a little bit.
So you don't think it was a penalty?
For me, it's 400% a penalty because Doku does a silly, tackle because you put your leg in the chest McAllister. McAllister arrives first on the ball. And in the penalty area, and it's the 98th of minutes of the game. You can't put your legs so high.
You've got to be a little bit careful.
He took a risk, that silly risk.
It shouldn't have.
Yeah. For me, it was for sure a penalty.
Yeah. What do you think, Eddie? Do you think it was a penalty?
I think it was a penalty.
Yeah. So counting.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that once again, not even in the area, not even in the midfield, no anywhere.
Yeah, you can't do that.
At the same time,
I understand that he was pulling away,
yeah,
but when you slow down all the replays, everything looks
true, but at the same time, even when you look at it at full speed, if it was reckless and he went to swing for the ball, it's understandable as a penalty. But he hasn't gone to swing for the ball. He's jumped up and tried to touch the ball. So basically, you've got McAllister's running at him and Doku's trying to touch the ball down. So it's a 50-50 collision for me. You got one side, McAllister's running at full speed trying to get to the ball, and Doku's there and he can see the ball. He's not looking at the man. So I think that's why it's not a penalty. If he was looking at the man and then he did that, it's a penalty. But the fact he's kept his eyes on the ball the whole time.
But how many penalties are there in football that they are on purpose?
There's
I don't think any defender wants to make a penalty.
But nowadays with VAR, you can expect to give that, or you can expect to not give that. I think overall, though, I think if Doku went to kick the ball away, it's a penalty. But the fact he didn't go and swing his foot at it, I think saved him a little bit. That's the only reason why I think it's not a penalty, because instead of trying to kick it, he's tried to touch it, and McAllister's run into him, which made it look like it's a foul, but for me, it's not a penalty.
You can't touch the ball in the penalty.
But he did touch the ball. I know you can't touch the ball in a penalty area. It's a silly thing to do, and yes, it's silly. But at the same time, he's not a defender. He's a forward.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
a referee doesn't make the decision based on you're not a defender.
He doesn't.
Forward, right?
He's always at a risk.
A decision is a decision. A fault is a fault, right?
We don't give any penalty.
But at the same time, people say it's a penalty. I understand. You know?
Yeah, it could have been a penalty, but again,
it's
we just
50-50, but
it's a 50-50 call, right?
I definitely think if the referee was uncertain, I think he should have checked it properly instead. But again, that's VAR in the Premier League. Unfortunately, it's just it's not a penalty.
It is what it is, Kante. It is what it is. Let's go back a little bit. Something happened between Pep Guardiola and Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, I wasn't sure if De Bruyne was injured, and I checked, and again, I think he wasn't injured.
No,
right?
he was.
And what happened there? I don't, because I'm a little bit confused. What happened?
Yesterday he said that he took De Bruyne off because he needed to control the ball better. I think with
De Bruyne is one of the best, but the best player.
He is the best player
Premier
at
League.
controlling the ball. I think yesterday, in the game against Liverpool especially, I think that determinedness of Guardiola saying, right, listen, I want to beat Klopp at Anfield. It's his final game here. I need to beat him. And I think De Bruyne yesterday, even though I didn't think he had a bad game, I think he wasn't really in control of the ball. Liverpool constricted him really, really good yesterday. So every time he touched the ball, even though he would play a good pass, he was never really in control of the midfield. I think that's why he came off. But I actually like what Pep did.
You think he made the right decision?
I think it in the end. I think it definitely, because he got to a point.
So if you think Pep made the right decision, which means he was going there for to settle for a point.
I disagree with that. I think he wanted to go for a win. That City bench, we know on this day, not even on this day, a 15% Kevin De Bruyne is still the best midfielder in the world. That's facts.
I'm a little confused. You know how good Kevin De Bruyne is.
Yeah, one pass and he changes the whole game.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think Guardiola might have looked at it and gone, right, he's just come back from injury.
Yeah.
If I risk him a bit too much, we're in a title race. If I risk him and I lose him again, we might be starting to fall down that pecking order again. But we've seen this season, even without De Bruyne, they've been good. But with him, they've been.
Do you think he wasn't ready? He wasn't physically ready. That's why maybe Pep thought, listen, maybe I should pull him out a little bit and just.
I think he was a little bit tired, but I think I think Pep's done that a few times.
The pace of that game,
it was really quick, and I think that's why he pulled him off. Because no offense to De Bruyne, he's not the quickest of players. So I think City needed legs. If you want to beat Liverpool, you have to be able to.
But he's 32 years of age, right?
He's
still young.
So he's relatively young.
Yeah, he's 32. He's still young, right?
And he's still at his peak. So
come on, you can't say, listen, he has no legs. And
it is a big risk, but at the same time, I think with City, if you want to beat Liverpool, any team, you have to have players that will be energised on the pitch to beat them.
With a lot of qualities.
With a lot of quality, but that whole City bench are quality, so they can bring on anyone and Pep will make them, look good. So I think it was the right call. It's not the first time he's done that, but I kind of agree with De Bruyne's reaction as well. I think it was.
Every player wants to play, no?
Every player wants to play, especially for City when you're
coming out of injury.
In injury, when he's in good form as well. So I think he might have looked at it and gone, right, I'm in good form. I know how good I am. If you took me off, then
That's the thing. Maybe in the last 2 minutes he gave a very beautiful pass, and then Haaland, boom.
Yeah.
He changed the whole game.
Exactly. But we'll never know, unfortunately.
But also it's Arsenal coming, so maybe Guardiola was thinking, okay, let him rest now.
Let him rest.
Arsenal is now the main enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we keep form.
My concern is Kevin De Bruyne is 32 years of age and he has 1 year left on his contract, right? Do you think he might stay, or it's time for you maybe to move on to the Middle East or to the US?
Well, I hope no.
No,
I hope he stays in Europe.
I hope he stays in Europe, but I think we're looking at a City team now where a lot of their better players are on a year left, 12 months left, and I think that might be down to Pep leaving. I don't think he'll leave this season. I think next season, I think you might be able to, you might see, Pep do what Klopp did this season and say, I need to leave now because I've done everything I possibly can at City.
Yeah.
And I think the reason, because they're not in talks to renew his contract, I think that's because, if you Pep Guardiola at Man City, when you think about Pep Guardiola at Man City, the first player that comes to your head is Kevin De Bruyne. So I think if Pep leaves, then De Bruyne leaves. But I think City, even if they both leave, they've got a good enough squad to take them forward for the next 5 years anyway.
Yeah, Kevin is fairly young, 32 years of age, and the quality is still there. It's just the way the guy plays is unbelievable. The way he thinks is way ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
And you don't want this kind of talent to leave Europe, right?
Don't. But at the same time, I think we've seen players in the past, they've gone, I'm 32 now, I know I'm good, but maybe it's time for a paycheck where it's a bit easier for me. My stats will get better, they'll still look good. But I think he's a player that can play until he's 40 years old and still be good in the Premier League, in my opinion. I think he's that good. So I think if he does go to Saudi Arabia and get the big paycheck, he deserves it, that's fair enough. But I think for a player of his quality, he should definitely stay in Europe for sure.
It would be a shame if he goes.
It's up to him because it's up to him to see how his form, because
we can only speculate, right?
Because we see Kroos that is still at Real Madrid, Modric still at Real Madrid. They are very old, but they are still killing it. I mean, they are one of the best midfielder in the world. So De Bruyne, I think as well, he can play.
Only 32.
Yeah, he can play until 38 because with this brain, he always one step ahead of the other players.
Do you think they should build like they used to do for Andrea Pirlo? Do you think they should build a team around him because the quality is full of quality?
I mean, maybe when he will be older, like 38, 39, when now he's still slow. I mean, he's not one of the fastest player, but when he's gonna be older...
But Zidane wasn't the fastest player. Pierre wasn't the fastest player.
You can move it like defensive midfielder, but like a regista, like Andrea Pirlo. So they can do it, but I mean, it's still up to him because maybe even last year, the next year, we want to change club because it's a lot of year that he is at Manchester City. So maybe he wants to try a new experience. Maybe he can go even to Barcelona. Why not? So
no. Honestly, listen, the quality. I mean, I will. If I'm a Barcelona owner, I will sign him. It's full of quality.
Anyone will sign him.
And I think Pep Guardiola has a lot of respect for him. You see the way he talked to him, even though
definitely. I think, with a player of his quality, I think he demands that respect. He's deserved it because at the start of his career, let go at Chelsea at a young age.
Yeah.
Went to Wolfsburg. City signed him back from the Premier League at a high fee of, I think it was 50 million at the time as well. I think it was 22, 23.
And he proved himself.
Exactly. He had to come back into the Premier League and say, right, Chelsea, you let me go too early. I have to prove myself. And I think after the first season, I remember Mourinho saying he played against De Bruyne in the first season.
Yeah.
And he said, the one regret I have is letting go of that. and it shows. It shows.
It shows.
He's so good.
Yeah, it's quality.
Superb, it's the quality, the vision,
just everything.
And how they put the passes, it's like.
let's hope he stays. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't done it yet, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and more importantly, subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you so much. Bye.